all, I wanted to ask you about your tattoos. Do they have like a special meaning to you or something?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as you can see, it's all very much ocean related, which obviously refers to my band name, but that again doesn't come from out of nowhere. I've had a really intimate relationship with the sea since I was born. I almost drowned twice, and I've had some of my most positive moments of my life somewhere in or near the ocean as well. So it's always been a huge part of my life, and
So
that's why it's
the name
covering.
The Ocean.
Yeah, I mean, for the band, it was more that we wanted to have a moniker that really allows us to do anything musically, and the ocean is perfect for that because it can stand for the cheesy coconut, palm tree, beach scenery, you know, as well as for the raging storm sea that's infested with sharks, and that's true for our music too. We do have those peaceful, calm moments, and the the walls of guitar and the heavy parts. So we just thought that that name really reflected what we wanted to do musically, and then of course there was this personal aspect that I just love the ocean, and it felt like the right name for the band, and that's also why you find it all over my body.
Right. How does your current touring van look like?
It's a pretty small van. It's a 7-seater Mercedes Vienna. We're 7 people in it, so there is not a whole lot of space, but it's cool because we have a trailer, like a huge trailer that basically has enough space for all of our lighting gear that we bring with us, and our backline and everything. So we only need to cram ourselves into the van. So that's why it works with a small van. It's really good on gas. We didn't want to buy one of these huge, Highway Tiger kind of like Sprinter vans, because we don't really need them. We only need space for 7 or maximum 8 people that we can squeeze into our van. And it definitely eats less gas, and we still need to bring the trailer anyway, because even with a 9-seater Sprinter, Mercedes Sprinter, we wouldn't be able to put all our backline inside. So I think it was a good solution.
It's not as shitty as the touring van you had in the US?
No, it's slightly better. No, in the US we were on a bus at first. There was not a van. There was like a proper, not a proper, to be fair, but there was like a 12-bunk sleeper bus. There was actually a city bus that they had transformed into a touring bus by just building bunks into it. And it was a piece of shit. It broke down, it ate a whole lot of gas, and it really screwed this tour for us financially. So that was definitely a bad choice. More so because we chose the wrong bus company, that just scammed us from the beginning, and they were responsible for that. But we made it to the end anyway. It broke down at one point. We left it in Oregon where it broke down on a hilltop. Then we bought our own van, which was just an 11-passenger van. It's the typical Chevy vans that touring bands have in the US. We bought a used one in San Francisco, and we sold it at the end of the tour to be able to continue the tour.
So financially it was
It was financial disaster, because we had paid the bus company up front, and they had taken all the money basically and let us high and dry when the bus broke down, and they still owe us a large 4-digit sum of money. They refused to pay it, so we're going to have to sue them. I'm going to be traveling back to Utah this summer to sue them and try to get my money back. And then also when it broke down, of course, we had a 12-bunk sleeper, so we were like, all right, let's bring some friends for crew and make things easier for everyone, and so we brought our own lighting engineer, our sound engineer, we brought a videographer that's filming for our DVD, and another friend who's a good photographer, and we were a total of 10 people. And then when the bus finally broke down, we were all of a sudden in a situation where we had to squeeze everyone into a van, which isn't that easy with all the gear and 10 people in the first place. So we could only do that because the headlining band Between the Bird and Me were cool enough to take a lot of our stuff with them in their trailer. But then, we had to sort out accommodation every night, and it's not so easy to find a place to sleep for 10 people. So some nights we had to take hotels, and with support fees that you get over there, and that have to cover your overseas flights, your bus rent or van rent, and then gas costs and working visas and all that. It was very difficult financially, but luckily we did very well on merch on this tour, so that helped us. That was basically what made us not break up.
So the shows went good.
The shows were amazing. Yeah, the shows were really good.
And are the fans comparable to your European fans here?
Yeah, in a way, but I don't know. The U.S. is different. Somehow, like, as much as I hate the U.S. in almost every aspect of life there, I really would not want to live in that country. The audiences there are awesome, and they're more excited than here a lot of times. You really like, especially with that tour, Between the Buried and Me just drew people that really have a strong interest in heavy, complex music, and not just scene kids, you know, like people who really care. And that was awesome for us because they were very open-minded towards what we do, and we had really the most excited audiences we've ever had before. I mean, sometimes when you tour Eastern Europe, you get that too, because that's so far off the beaten track, and most
Because they never play there.
exactly, like most of the bigger tours just don't go there, you know, because fees are shit and it's far to go there and get back. So people are really appreciative there because they don't get to see so many bands, and somehow that seemed to be the same in the US, although they do get a lot of tours, but still people were not as spoiled. You know, when you play in Berlin, a lot of times you have people just like clapping 3 times and that's it, and they care more about, you know, the buttons of their scene girlfriends than, you know, about the music. And in the US that was cool. People were really open-minded and into it, and that's what made this tour a whole lot of fun. Yeah, it was great. And we, like here for example, we don't get lots of dancing people usually. It's yeah, it's just not what we do, you know, we're not Hatebreed, we don't do Wall of Death or crap like that. But in the US, we just had like epic 30-meter diameter circle pits every night without even initiating it, you know, it's just crazy. Like kids there like to have fun, and that was good because, you know, that's more feedback that you get from the audience, and that's of course affects you and how you feel when you play, and that was like a really cool, positive experience.
You posted a tour blog on YouTube, and there was footage of you partying a lot, drinking a lot. So I was gonna ask you, what do you usually do? Like
I don't
during
drink.
the day to kill the time?
I don't party, I don't drink, I read books. No, I really do. No, I don't know, like you mean like on the road in the van? I usually work a lot on my laptop because I have to run my label from on the road. I also work as a translator, and I have projects to finish sometimes, and I spend a lot of time just like working on my computer basically. That's, you know, I need to do that anyway, at least like 3 hours a day, so that's what I usually do when I'm driving because I can't do anything else, and we have power in the van so we can power our computers, and that's mainly what we do in the van if we don't just talk shit and poke our toes up each other's noses and stuff like that. But yeah, at night, you know, when you get out of the van, especially after a long drive, there's this, I don't know, like it drives everyone mental in a way. You need to do something, you need to act, you need to do stupid things and drink and move, you know, and exercise and go off, and that's what happens when we get there. I think we drink quite a lot, yeah, as a band.
Well, you
We're
mentioned
definitely not a straight edge band.
you got a label, you got Earthship, you played a show with them tonight, so you're playing two shows now every night.
Yeah.
You got the Ocean, of course, you have Job. Are you some kind of workaholic, or what's going on? Do you never rest?
I do rest, but not really on tour. That doesn't really work. But yeah, I guess you can call me a workaholic as long as I work for my own projects and not for some boss that is paying me for the time of my life. I gladly work. I gladly work on things that I feel to be rewarding, and yeah, ideally immediately, or at least in the long run, you know, where I see a purpose in it. If that is the case, I can really be a workaholic and work like 15, 16 hours a day if I see the point in it, you know. I wouldn't be able to do that for a fucking pay job. But yeah, I'm luckily in a position where I can sustain myself doing things that I like and that I care about, and that's great, and I appreciate that. And that's why, like, a lot of my friends, they even those people working in music, they, you know, work in their office, and they say they don't want that to interfere with their private life. I just had that conversation with our tour manager a couple of days ago, and for me that's not the case. Like, I can check my emails at 4 a.m. and reply them, you know, even if it's like work emails that are, you know, like concerning the label or whatever. It doesn't bother me if I have to do that in my free time, because I don't consider my work to be a pain in the ass. It's stuff that that I care about and that I like. So yeah, I can do that in between cooking food with my girlfriend and eating. You know, it's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you got a new video for the song The Grand Inquisitor 2, Roots and Locusts. And did you come up with the concept or?
That was me and the guy who actually did it, a guy named Craig Murray.
Okay.
He's done video clips for a lot of bands, for Nine Inch Nails, Converge, and a lot of very different bands. And I was pointed towards him by a Canadian friend of mine who, at least like initially he wanted to start doing visuals for us, but we didn't really get anywhere. So he was like, check out this guy, I think he's exactly what you're looking for, and that turned out to be true. So that's how I found Craig, and then we've been emailing back and forth, and I sent him the lyrics and told him about the ideas and the concepts behind the song actually, and some of the ideas I had how to transfer that into a visual environment, and then he sent me some suggestions, and then it was just like a back and forth kind of work in progress that lasted for at least like 6 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. So yeah, it was like a collaborative effort between Craig and me. I sent him the basic ideas and concepts, and he worked out what to do with them basically.